Do you own one of these new generation Harley-Davidson touring models, or are you considering one of them? Well, I'm going to run you through 11 service bulletins for these new bikes that you should check to see if yours has. Plus, I'll throw in a few bonus tips as well. Many of these service bulletins are only going to cover early versions of these new models. So if you're an adopter of a 23.5 CVO, as I was, you may have most of these resolved already. But even if you have a newer model, it's a good idea to check all of these things just to make sure they're right on your bike. One of the first service bulletins was M1605, and this covered the main harness. And you can see the main harness travels from one side to the other side on the bike. Well, originally that zip tie there was not in place, and this harness would sag, and it could sag so far down that it could get caught by the belt, which is hanging out right over there on the other side. So the fix was to place a zip tie there to pull this main harness up. And as we've seen with the 2026s, they've really fixed this whole back area, so this is no longer a concern. But you should check to make sure that main harness is secure with a zip tie and not dipping down near that belt. Next up is M1610, and this actually resulted in a recall. And this had to do with this brake line clamp. And on some bikes, this was flipped around the wrong way. And this allowed the brake line there to come loose, come out of the clamp, and start moving around, which created issues. So the fix was quite simple. You just flipped it around. But your brake line clamp should look just like this one. M1657 also resulted in a recall for the voltage regulator wire. It's a little tough to see, but you can see that red wire there. And what was happening is that wire was rubbing against the chassis, and eventually it would cause a break in the wire and then your bike to lose power. And this created a lot of panic and challenges for more than one rider. So the fix is to simply secure it with another zip tie against the chassis so that it doesn't rub against the motor. I think most of us have just opted for a thrash and skid plate to protect all those wires dangling below the bike. It sure adds a lot of assurance while you're riding around. Special thanks to Juan for designing this one. Well worth the purchase. Okay, a couple just for the street glides, of which I don't have, but M1613 had to do with the wires along the steering head, and they were coming loose and starting to rub. So the fix was to put a zip tie. You can see mine's already got a zip tie there, at least on the road glide. But you may need to add one. M168 and followed up by M1633. The Street Glide Death Wobble. This one created an awful lot of frustration and an awful lot of confusion to this day. I made a couple videos about it to try to clear it up, but it's still really confusing. Essentially, the challenge with the Street Glides is that they were too light in the front. So as they got up to speed, about 120 miles per hour, they could wobble. So the fix was to put an ECM calibration on the bike to limit the speed to 99 miles per hour. But then the other fix was to add weight here. So underneath this cowling on a street glide, they added a ballast. So it was a ballast that you mounted to the front, and it simply added some weight to the front of the bike. And then the ECM calibration was updated later to remove that 99 mile per hour speed limit, and apparently it bumped it to 110 miles per hour, as long as you had that ballast in place. The ignition coil, M1700. This has created a lot of frustration for many riders, including myself. As you may know, on my way back from Sturgis, my ignition coil wire failed. Now there's a lot of debate about what the cause is. We know that Harley put a zip tie in place to hold that wire tighter against the coil. And many of us believe that that zip tie is creating the issue. So the fix has been to remove that zip tie. However, I did that, and then I had issues. So is the zip tie in place holding the wire together and then removing it, allowing the wire to fail? Or is the zip tie itself causing the wire to fail? Well, unfortunately, I think the answer is both are true. So with that zip tie in place, I think over time it's crimping that wire and breaking it. But at the same time, if your wire is beginning to fail, zip tie is probably preventing the problem from occurring for the moment. And by removing the zip tie and allowing that wire to expand, it's just progressing the failure sooner. So what do? Well, I'm really not sure what the best advice is here. I think most are opting to remove the zip tie. But one thing's for sure, Harley-Davidson is not going to fix this wire unless you have the issue. So mine has been replaced, but not with the official kit. So I don't have the offset zip tie, but I do have a new connector. And thus far, it's working. I know many of you have decided to just put your own fix in place. So you've bought a new connector and your own wire and you've come up with your own solution. And I applaud you for that. But I think if you're riding around and that zip tie is in place, the only thing you can really do is have your dealer inspect it. Have them take a look at it and see if they see any damage. If they don't, they probably aren't going to do anything. I think most are removing the zip tie. But I would take it to your dealer and at least log that you had it checked. So I know that doesn't provide a lot of assurance. And I think the answer is to go purchase your own harness connector. And the NAMS company, NAMS Electronics, sells a replacement connector for this coil. And what I would do is just stick it in your saddlebag just in case. And then for a roadside repair, you could simply cut the connector off, and then if you use some simple Wagyu snap-on connectors, you could quickly snap on the new NAMS connector, plug it back in, and get on down the road. Links in the description. Next on our list is one that actually does not have a service bulletin associated with it. It's something I found one day when I had the rear wheel off of this bike. So underneath the side cover on the left-hand side, you're going to see these two zip tie connections. You want to make sure these are both in place, as I found one was missing. And what they're securing is the main fuse harness wire. And my wire was rubbing against the back of the fender to the point it created a notch in the protective housing over that wire. And if that continued on, eventually it may have broke and ruined my ride. So if you're an owner of one of these new touring models, the best advice I could give you is to check your wiring harness. Simply put your eyes on all the connections you can see and make sure all of the wires are secure against the bike. Now don't go crazy and putting zip ties everywhere. That sometimes we need a little slack in the wire, and sometimes we don't want to add too much tension to a wire. So don't go crazy with it. But I highly recommend you run through the bike and check out that wiring harness. It has been the #1 cause of most of the issues with these new bikes. When Harley came up with the design for this bike, they eliminated a lot of the wiring harness, which is a good thing. Get rid of wires, get rid of wire connections. But the problem is they haven't touched that wiring harness for many years. And so now that it's been redesigned, we're running into issues as these bikes have been on the road. So this is my best advice to you. Check your harness. All right, let's talk about software updates, specifically the ECM, the Delphi ECM here on the side, and then the BCM, which actually sits on top of the battery. There's been a few updates to the software here, but unfortunately, there's no way for you to verify what version you have for ECM and BCM on the bike. It's really frustrating. The only way to verify the versions is to take it to your dealer, have them connect a digital technician tool, and they can verify what versions of software you have for both. And of course, then they can apply the updates. These updates should all be free, and there's been a few of them. This first one you should not need. If you're a 2023.5 owner and your bike still doesn't always start for you, then maybe you still need it. But M1632 was an ECM update to fix the crank no start issue. M1645. Now this was for 2024 models. I think because the fix for the crank no start covered it for the 23.5 models. But for the 24 models, this fixes the EITMS, Engine Idle Temperature Management System. And you can turn this on by twisting your throttle grip all the way forward with the ignition on, and you'll see it come up with EITMS on. So when you're idle at a light and the bike is hot, it will kill the power to the rear cylinder. So while you're sitting there, it's trying to reduce a little heat coming up to you from the motor. But I find that it's awesome because it makes the motor shake. Because when there's no power to one of the cylinders, it's essentially misfiring. So you're getting this crazy shake in the motor. And for me, it brings back that nostalgic feeling of the shaking of the handlebars at a light. Next up, we have M1644. So this is a BCM update, not an ECM update, and it fixes a hard start in gear and a ride mode fault. So this one was confusing to me. So if you like to start your bike in gear, obviously you pull the clutch in, put it in gear, and then start it. It's an old habit that some of us have. It was really hard to start. And it would actually sound awful, like it was just destroying the engine sometimes. Well, this software update actually fixed that. So I was able to now, once again, start my bike in gear. Now, I don't think many of you do that, and I don't do it too often. But it also fixed an issue with the ride modes, so there'd be a fault error that you could get, and this software update fixed that as well. M1691, linked braking system improvement. So if you ever grab the front brake but forget to grab the rear, instead of your rear tire spinning out, the computer will try to correct for you. So it'll add a little rear brake to prevent that wheel from coming around and being in front of you. So there was an improvement to this software to make it more responsive. So apparently there was some odd feelings as you emergency braked, and they fixed it with this software update. They will only apply it if you complain about it. And I'm not so sure. I had it applied and I tried to test it of different ways. I'm not so sure I really noticed anything, but some have reported it's made a big difference. If you've never had your side cover off, you may find your tender cord curled up underneath here. I took mine and ran it under the frame rail and then down through the crossbar that goes across the frame here. And so it comes out right there. And what I discovered is I can hook it right to that little clip that comes from this heat guard. So if you have these heat guards installed, you're going to have a little plastic clip right there, and it's a great place to secure your tender. And speaking of tenders, you're going to want to get one if you don't want to have one. So I've always had this 1 amp, and I keep my bike plugged in whenever I'm not riding it. But I recently upgraded to a 5 amp. This is really what you need for these new bikes. It keeps them charged, and if you're using your bike to play with the infotainment system, it'll prevent the battery from dying. The 1 amp is just not enough to use the bike while it's on a tender. However, if you just use it for maintaining, the 1 amp will work. But keep your bike plugged in or you're going to regret it. Another important software version to check is your Skyline OS. And they sure make it easy to find. Well, not really. So if we go to the menu button and then the gear, we'll go down to System, and then we'll go down to System Info. And then from there you go Product Information. And you're looking for the Skyline OS version. The current version is 4125D. If you watch my last video, you may know that the 2026s are coming with 5054D. And some of you 2025 owners have this version as well. But the publicly released version is 4125D. A much easier way to check your software version is to get the HD app on your phone and then put your VIN number in. And then you can go check your Skyline OS version right on your phone screen. It's a lot easier. Again, we expect our next update coming up in January 2026. Having your bike updated for the Skyline OS is important and something that I recommend. There have been many bug fixes and a few improvements. We hope there are more coming. But there was a bulletin M1683. You may end up with a VIN error. So when the Skyline OS boots up, it tries to talk to the ECM to verify the VIN number. And if it fails, it won't enable Wi-Fi or GPS. Now, many of you that have aftermarket tuners, so if you have a new Thundermax or the Impact wiring solutions, when you did that software update, you probably have this problem. And the way to validate it is to go to your menu and then go all the way down to Wi-Fi. And if Wi-Fi is missing or it's grayed out, you have this issue. And you're going to have to take it to your dealer and they're going to have to fix the VIN error problem to bring back the Wi-Fi and the GPS. Now you're going to need your stock ECM if you've changed it before you take it in for this problem. But you're going to want to have Wi-Fi enabled because in theory, our next Skyline OS is going to come via Wi-Fi. As of December, these are the bulletins you should be aware of if you're an owner of one of these new touring models. Or maybe you're considering buying one, you'll want to take a look. Now I know this list is long and some of the items on it are pretty disappointing. But I will say overall, none of this has detoured my ownership experience with this bike. It is such a performance and handling improvement, and the infotainment screen I think is really beautiful. I sure hope you found this information useful, and if you're not subscribed, please do so. It's free, and I always keep my viewers up to date with what's going on with these new Harley Davidsons. But until next time, in the friction zone.